Okay. Well, before Sugar Hill Gang, you had a couple of records out. Originally with the younger generation, We Rap More Mellow.
Yeah, that was a record, we did. It was a producer called Terry Lewis, so-called producer. He was half producer, half con man. And we did that with him. But then we did the other record with Bobby Robinson for Enjoy. And that was our best, super rap. And that was our coming out party as far as recordings go.
Okay, so you did super rapping, and some of the lyrics in that, ended up getting used later on in some of your other records.
Yeah. The Child Is Born rhyme was used for the message.
Right. Okay, so then you put out this, the super rapping record, and it makes some noise, and then right around that time, the Sugar Hill Gang comes out with Rapper's Delight.
Well, they came out with Rapper's Delight first. That
okay.
I believe Super Rapper came out in '80, and then Rapper's Delight came out in '79. So, but before that, the whole scene was we basically dominated the scene through block parties, and we gave some of the biggest indoor parties, rivaling what Herc was doing. And then after Rapper's Delight came out, that changed the whole dynamic, because it was like I always seen hip hop like as guys that could actually do it, should do it. And then that was the first time that I heard guys that I didn't really think was up to hip hop standards actually rap. And then people was coming to us like, y'all should make a record like that. And I was always like, well, why should we do some stupid shit like that? Like, we thought any rapper at that time thought Rapper's Delight was the worst record that they ever heard. But the people loved it. Like, the people went fucking bananas off it. But, I was like, one of the guys was Big Bang Hank. That was fucking Kaz's man. It's like, what is he doing with a mic? You know what I mean?
Right, because I actually interviewed Kaz, and he broke down how Big Bang Hank stole his entire verse.
So, basically, I wrote everything Hank said on Rapper's Delight. All right. I'm the CASNOVA. That's my name, Casanova Fly. Okay. Back in the early days of rap, everybody spelled their name out in front.
Okay.
I'm so and so. When Love Bug said I'm the LOVE, the BUG. All right. I'm the CASN, the OVA, and the rest is FLY. That was my thing.
Okay. He's literally saying Kaz's name in the verse.
Yeah. And like I said, I thought it was the worst shit that I ever heard. But people loved it, though. It's like that record was probably, it was the only thing that I've ever lived to see as hot as Rapper's Delight was when Michael Jackson came out with Thriller. But that was, like I said, we hated it, but people, they loved it. And then that just changed the whole dynamic. So now it wasn't about, because we had a year and a half of building up a whole lot of street reputation and doing parties. And then in one swoop, they came out with that record. And then overnight, they was the top, they was the top guys. So then we had to go on, the mind thought of how we going to start making records. And then we made Super Rapping. And then after that, we signed with Sugar Hill.
Okay, and at the time, Sugar Hill was run by Joe and Sylvia Robinson, and Joe Robinson was a pretty major gangster.
Yeah, he was but you know what? I got a lot of love for Joe Robinson, because it wasn't like he was a gangster like a person would say that they're a gangster now, but he was he was a street dude. He came up in the street. He had good connections, but he was a man. He taught me, I learned a lot from Joe Robinson about being a real man, not the gangster part, because we never seen that side of him. I personally never seen that side of him, but he was definitely, he had good connections. He was a good guy.
Okay, and were you the first rapper to call yourself MC?
Yeah, I made up the term because, see, our whole thing in the beginning, rap wasn't necessarily entertainment. What Hercules was doing, it wasn't entertaining. So when you came to a hip hop party, it was like a lot of roaming around, and then everybody would go like where the b-boys up. Somebody was b-boy, and then they would crowd around the b-boys. If somebody was hustling, they would crowd around the people that was hustling. But most of it was like just a lot of people roaming around. So what we was trying to do was to get the whole thing to where it's more of an event, so that people won't do all that roaming around, so that their attention is fixated on a certain part of the room where the DJ was, or you know, and that's what we went about doing the routines, and you know, calling the MC, you know, to make it a show. So at first we said EMCEE because that's, you know, like the guys that do the game shows, they're MCs, and then we just shortened it down to MC, and that's how that term got coined, from just us, you know, trying to make what we was doing more like a show, other than just a bunch of people in the party listening to a DJ.